Unit Exam 10. Number 1. Some animals such as lions have pointed teeth, while other animals such as cattle have flat teeth. The difference in the shape of these animals' teeth is most closely related to A. The type of organisms the animals consume. B. The sounds the animals make. C. The habitat the animals live in. Or D. The type of predators the animals have. 2. The whiskers of a river otter and the antenna of a cockroach are shown below. How do structures such as whiskers and antenna benefit organisms? F. They help organisms detect their surroundings. G. They help their organisms eat food quickly. H. They help the organisms fight predators. Or J. None of these. 3. A group of students made the observations listed below about the size, shape, and appearance of their hands. 1. 2 students have scars on their hands. 2. 5 students have pointer fingers that are longer than the ring fingers. 3. 9 students have ring fingers that are longer than their pointer fingers. 4. 6 students have rings on their fingers. 5. 7 students have pointer fingers and ring fingers that are the same length. Which of the students' observations describe inherited traits? A. Observations 2 and 5 only. B. Observations 1, 3, and 4 only. C. Observations 2, 3, and 5 only. D. All of the observations. Many types of grazing animals live in Africa. The pictures show 2 of these animals that have about the same mass and height at the shoulder: Thomson's gazelle and gerenuk. Based on observations of the pictures of these animals, which statement describes an advantage that only one of these animals has in obtaining food? F. The Thomson's gazelle has a body shape that allows it to run faster when chasing prey. G. The Thomson's gazelle has horns that can be used to move tree branches out of the way to reach food. H. The gerenuk has a sharp pointed nose for detecting the scent of predators. Or J. The gerenuk has a long neck that allows it to reach high to eat from trees. 5. The shells of sea turtles are flatter than the shells of land turtles. Sea turtles are also different from land turtles because sea turtles cannot pull their head or limbs into their shell to protect themselves from predators. Instead, the head, shell shape, and flippers of sea turtles help them escape from predators mainly by allowing them to A. Dig deep holes for their eggs. B. Swim and dive easily. C. Blend into their surroundings. Or D. Hold their breath for several minutes. Number 6. The table gives information about 4 types of fish. These fish all have mouth structures that allow them to eat different types of food. Parrotfish. Jaws from a strong parrot-like beak. Grinding plates inside their mouths. Koi. Soft mouth with no teeth. Mouth located on the underside of the head. Goby. Small mouth, lower jaw extends out farther than upper jaw. Seahorse, small mouth, mouth located at the end of a long tube-like snout. Which of these fish has mouth structures that allow it to eat algae by taking large bites of the hard coral on which the algae grows? F. Parrotfish. G. Koi. H. Goby. Or J. Seahorse. 7. Newly hatched chicks of many types of birds, such as parrots, are covered in soft, fluffy down feathers. These feathers contain many small spaces where air gets trapped. In some animals, such as Arctic foxes, the fur covering the animal's body consists of hollow strands of hair filled with air. The primary role of air trapped in the down feathers and fur is most likely to A. Act as a cushion to prevent injuries from falls. B. Decrease the amount of energy needed for running or flying. C. Provide a layer of insulation to help control body temperature. or D. Supply oxygen to be absorbed through the skin for transport to the lungs. 8. After a trip to the aquarium, some students compare the tail fin of sharks with the tail fin of bony fish. The students made a chart listing characteristics of each type of the tail fin. Shark tail fin. Fin with two lobes of different sizes, stiff fin, no bone in fin, no muscle control of fin, can seem only forward. Bony fish tail fin. Fin with two lobes of the same size. Flexible fin. Thin, bony spines in fin. Control of fin by muscles. Can swim forward and backward. Based on this information, what is most likely an advantage of the bony fish over the shark tail fin? F. It is easier for a bony fish to change direction quickly since muscles control the movement of the tail fin. G. The bones in the tail fin help the bony shark sink to lower depths in the water when searching for food. H. The flexible tail fin is fanned by the water, so a bony fish uses less energy to swim. J. The thin spines of the tail fin prevent a bony fish from being seen by larger predator fish. Number 9. Most kangaroos have large, heavy tails, while spider monkeys have long, thin tails. Kangaroo tails are useful when the kangaroos are hopping and also when they're crawling around on the ground to feed. Spider tails are useful when the spider monkeys are moving through trees. Both of these animals use their tails primarily for A. Grabbing and holding their food, B. Supporting and balancing their food, C. Attracting the attention of other animals, or D. Carrying their young. 10. Some traits of living organisms are inherited, while some behaviors must be learned. Which statement related to inherited traits or learned behavior is not correct? F. The ability of a figure skater to spin on ice is related to both inherited traits and learned behaviors. G. The ability of lions to use camouflage to hide in grassy fields is an inherited trait only. H. The number and type of legs a cricket has is an inherited trait only. J. The behavior of a dog guiding a blind person on a walk through a neighborhood is an inherited trait only. Number 11. A number of students visited a park and collected leaves from many different trees in order to study them. They recorded their observations about the leaves. Which of these observations does not describe an inherited trait? A. The leaves vary in shape and size. B. Some shapes have holes made by insects chewing on them. C. Some leaves are smooth on one side and rough on the other. D. The colors of the leaves range from light green to dark green. 12. Which of these is a behavior that a person learns rather than inherits? F. Swallowing a sweet liquid. G. Having a pleasant dream. H. Digesting a chocolate-covered strawberry, or J. Identifying the scent of a rose. 13. A bright red cardinal male comes to a school bird feeder every morning. Like other cardinals, this bird makes a sharp chirping sound as it hops around the bird feeder. Which of these is a learned behavior of this bird? A. Having red feathers. B. Eating seeds during the day. C. Coming to the bird feeder each morning. Or D. Making a chirping sound. 14. A family takes a group picture in a park where bluebonnets are blooming. The family notices that some of the blooms are white and others are blue. The color of the blooms is most likely determined by F. Air temperature, G. Inheritance from parent plants, H. The types of consumers that eat the plant, or J. The ages of the plant. 15. A student measured out 10 milliliters of 4 clear liquids and added 1 drop of a different colored dye to each liquid. One of the liquid was water. The student then carefully poured each liquid into a graduated cylinder and let the mixture settle for 30 minutes. The student observed that the liquids had separated into layers as shown in the diagram. Liquid 1, Liquid 2, Liquid 3, Liquid 4. Which of these procedures would help the student identify the layer of water? A. Stir the liquids, let them settle, and then identify the bottom layer as water. B. Drop a piece of ice into the graduated cylinder, let the ice settle, and then identify the layer just above the ice as water. C. Add water to the graduated cylinder, let the mixture settle, and then identify the layer that increases in volume as water. D. Carefully pour each layer into separate plastic containers. Place the containers in a freezer and then identify the liquid that takes the longest to freeze as water. 16. Students are investigating properties of objects. They observe 4 objects and record observations for each object in the table. Properties of 4 objects. Object label K. Is a liquid? Yes. Is attracted to a magnet? No. Is soluble? No. L. Is a liquid? No. Is attracted to a magnet? Yes. Is soluble in water? No. M. Is a liquid? No. Is attracted to a magnet? No. Is soluble in water? Yes. N. Is a liquid? No. Is attracted to a magnet? No. Is soluble in water? No. Based on the student's observations, which of these tables properly identify the objects? F. K. Oil. L. Iron needle. M. Pancake syrup. N. Rubber ball. G. Cake, pancake syrup. L. Sugar cube. M. Plastic dish. N. Cotton candy. H. K. Pancake syrup. L. Safety pin. M. Cotton candy. N. Iron needle. J. K. Oil. L. Safety pin. M. Sugar cube. N. Rubber ball. 17. For a science assignment, a student was asked to observe some organisms and then make a table to classify the organism's traits as inherited or learned. The student's table is shown below. Colt able to write after birth. Student texting a message. Spider spinning a web. Brown fur on a bear. Child using a fork to eat. Woman driving a car. Green leaves on a tree. Lion humping through a hoop. How many of these observations describe learned behaviors and how many describe inherited traits? Explain your answer below and mark L for learned behavior and I for inherited traits in the boxes above.